are. It's another day or video or whatever. Today's one of those days where there's a whole lot of stuff going on all at once. I'm waiting for some contractor or something to show up. The wall by the door is falling apart and the door's getting hard to close. So I don't know, I guess that corner of the building is trying to collapse or something. So I'm just waiting around here for them. They said it will be anywhere from noon to 4, and it's 12:30 right now. We have the scale here that we built in the last video. If you saw the last live stream, we kind of tested it out and weighed a few chairs. I want to do a little bit more of that today in a regular video that's not a 3-hour long stream. So we're gonna check the weight on some of these chairs here. Well, it's 3:30 now. Contractor still has not shown up. So in the meanwhile, we're gonna weigh some stuff. We got the scale set up down here on the floor, got a little ramp. Let's turn this thing on. We're gonna grab a whole bunch of these chairs over here and see how much they weigh, just for whatever reason. I believe we should start off here with this Amy Systems chair. This has power legs, recline, tilt, and a seat lift. Now, all of those seating components do add up and make a rehab chair weigh sometimes significantly more than they would without all that. Okay, we got it centered on there. And it would appear as though we are about 441 pounds, or 442 if you round that up. Now this does have the slightly larger off-road tires. They shouldn't add too much weight really, but yeah, with the full seating package, 4 power functions, Amy Alltrack R3 Hybrid, 442 pounds. Next up is going to be my 2021 Permobil F3. Oh man, that is a hefty beast. So this chair, which has also all 4 power functions, power legs, tilt, recline, and seat lift, clocks in at 423 pounds. So tiny bit lighter than this, but still pretty hefty. Oh, and by the way, this F3 has Group 24 Permobil Volt Pro batteries in it. Group 34 versus 24 versus Group 22 can also affect the weight as well. Actually, I don't know what size batteries this Amy Systems has in it. I'm assuming it's Group 24, but it might be 34. Regardless, those things are maybe only about 20 pounds different if you factor in both of them. Next up, we've got my bounder. This thing is from, actually, what year is that thing? Maybe 2017, 2018, something like that. But it's the Bounder Plus with the off-road package. I put larger tires on it. It does have a backpack on it, but there isn't really any weight in it. And it has power legs, power tilt, recline, and a seat lift. Let's see how much this thing weighs. Now, once again, these chairs are more like industrial equipment than they are wheelchairs, which is reflected in the weight. We are at 507 pounds. Now, this chair does also have the lithium battery option, which is a 100 amp hour LFP or lithium iron phosphate battery. So if it had lead acid batteries in there, I'm sure we could easily add another 50 pounds or something. But yeah, that's a heavy chair. Next up, we have the Edge 3 Stretto. This one is an interesting configuration. It has power legs, it has power tilt, and it has a seat lift, but no recline. And it has Group 22 batteries, which are obviously pretty small. Plus it's a Stretto, which is a narrow wheelbase. Okay, any guesses on this thing? It seems kind of like a heavy chair, but at the same time, it also doesn't. So, I don't know, we'll see here. Holy cow! Now, one thing with the Quantums is the eye level or the seat lift does add a significant amount of weight. But this chair with Group 22 batteries that's missing recline clocks in at 420 pounds. That is interesting. Which means next we're going to have to try the Forefront 1 because it's got a similar configuration. It has power legs and tilt. Oh wait, I don't think it has a seat lift. I can't remember. Let's pull it over here and check. But 420 pounds for that thing is really surprising. Okay, here's the Quantum Forefront 1. Turns out this only has a single power function, and that is tilt. No lift, no recline, no power legs. I get the feeling this thing is going to be heavier than the Strato, even missing all that stuff, but let's find out. Interesting. So this thing, which has group 34 batteries in it, so a little bit smaller, middle of the road, clocks in at 364 pounds. Now my forefront one that had 3 power functions and group 24 batteries, which are a little bit larger, the shipping crate on that thing said 429 pounds. So I think the difference here is going to be the extra weight of the seating components. Okay, I got to change this camera battery. So yeah, I don't think a lot of people realize, but there can be a significant weight difference depending on the seating options. Seating stuff is extremely heavy, especially on quantum chairs. The True Balance 3 seating, I actually like it a lot. It's really comfortable and, you know, pretty beefy and heavily built. But it's interesting to see that my forefront was, what did I say, almost 430 pounds? And this one's 364, just missing some seating functions and slightly different sized batteries. All right, I'm gonna unearth some other chairs over here. I got boxes stacked on a bunch of them. And let's see what some more different things weigh. Next up, we have an older Permobil C500. Now the thing with Permobil chairs, adding power functions doesn't necessarily affect the weight that much. Most of the components are already there, and all they do is add or remove an actuator or a dummy tube with a manual locking pin. So this chair does happen to have all 4 power functions: power legs, tilt, recline, and a seat lift. And this also has group 24 batteries in it, which are the larger ones. I always kind of got the feeling that the newer versions of the F3 were basically a remake of the older C500s. So I'm kind of expecting the weight to be similar. Or maybe a little bit more. Although I don't know, I have no way of predicting. It's not light though, I'm sure of that. Okay, so rounding up, we're at 416 pounds. I don't remember what the F3 was. I think it was close to that. Now, I don't have, I mean, the cushion doesn't weigh much, and I don't have the side guards on here, but I don't think any of that would add significant weight. But yeah, 416 pounds on a fully loaded old school C500. I think this is like 2012-ish, maybe. Here we have the Magic Mobility Frontier V6. This is a version 1 of these chairs. This has power tilt, and that's it. No other power functions. Now, I've always felt running around on this chair that it's a little bit lighter weight than a lot of other chairs. I unfortunately don't have a C300 in here to weigh. Well, I guess we have the steampunk chair. But I get the feeling that this thing maybe weighs a little bit more than a C300, but less than my daily chair. But that's all speculation. Let's find out for sure. And the other thing to remember with this chair also is this was built before the Sunrise Medical acquisition, which means it does not have motion concept seating on it. Motion concept seating adds a significant amount of weight, but it is also a very good seating system. I guess it's kind of middle of the road. 350 pounds. Obviously, adding seating functions, once again, is going to make it way more. But it is sub 400 pounds, which for an off-road chair, I think is kind of handy. But boy, is this thing huge. This is the last one we're going to do today, I think. This is a Quickie Pulse 6, which is similar to the Salsa in other countries. It's like an older version. I guess there's a few versions of those. This one, though, has power tilt, has power legs, has recline. But the legs are dual power. You can change the angle, you can change the height, and same with the recline. You can change the angle and you can change the backrest height. So there's a lot of actuators and stuff going on in this thing. But this uses group 22 batteries. It really feels like a fairly lightweight chair, so let's see. 345 pounds. That'll do. I don't really have much else to say about this wheelchair. It's an chair, and they're one of the ones that tends to fall apart. You have to tighten the bolts on the thing on a bi-weekly basis, and the suspension is decent. They're really good at handling upward transitions, like going full speed and hitting a curb cut out on a sidewalk, but very susceptible to moisture and very susceptible to vibration and all the suspension components literally falling off the chair. It was a backup chair that I used for a while, and I loaned it out to a friend occasionally. But anyways, wheelchair weight. Okay, bad news, good news. Bad news, contractor is not showing up. Because why would he? It being an hour to 90-minute drive for me to get here, I mean, I had to come here anyways to do stuff, so no big deal. But if they reschedule again, I told them I am just going to take $50 off my lease next month, or for this month. So if your guy wants to show up, that's fine. But if not, it's going to cost you money.